All right, let's talk about something that drives so many of us crazy. It's that weird nagging pain you get from just sitting. How is that even possible? I mean, it feels totally backwards, right? You're not out there running a marathon. You're not lifting anything heavy. You are literally just sitting still. So why on earth does doing nothing sometimes hurt more than anything? Okay, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to dive into something I call the stillness paradox. And trust me, it's a concept that's going to completely flip the script and what you think causes pain. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you've ever worked at a desk or had a long commute, right? You feel totally fine when you're up and moving around. But then, after an hour, maybe two, sitting in that chair, that dull ache starts creeping in. And suddenly, just standing up feels like the hardest thing you'll do all day. And this is where we have to completely flip our thinking. We're so used to thinking that movement or some kind of activity is what causes pain, but in this case, movement is actually the solution. The real bad guy here is the lack of movement. Stillness is the trigger. So why? Why does our body freak out about being still? Well, it really helps to think about it like this. Your body has this incredible protective alarm system, and it's constantly sending out signals just to keep you safe. And here is the absolute key. That pain you feel from sitting, it's not usually a sign that something is broken or damaged. Nope, it's just a protective alert from your nervous system. It's your body's way of screaming, hey, we're not getting the motion we need down here. Get up. So here's how it all goes down, step by step. First, you sit for a while. Then, those little joints in your spine, they stop moving. They stop gliding past each other. Your nervous system picks up on this lack of motion and, it kind of panics. It sees it as a potential threat. And what does it do in response? It sends out that pain signal as an alarm to get you to move again. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. This leads to a super common way our bodies learn to deal with that pain signal. And the best way to understand it is with a little something I call the grandma adaptation.
Yeah, this comes from a great story about the author's grandma. So picture this. She's sitting there, totally comfortable, but when it's time to get up, he notices she does this interesting little ritual. She doesn't just stand up. First, she kind of rocks back and forth a few times, builds up some momentum, and then she slowly pushes herself up.
So he asks her, Grandma, are you in pain when you stand up? And she just smiles and says, not if I get up this way. And her answer, it's so revealing. I mean, on the surface, that sounds awesome, right? She figured out a way to stand up without any pain. Problem solved. Or is it? And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is she actually solving the problem, or is she just avoiding it? Is finding a clever little trick to stand up without it hurting the same as fixing what's really going on? And the answer, my friends, is a big, fat no. What's happened here is what we call an adaptation. See, instead of fixing her body's ability to just stand up easily, her body found a workaround. It's a clever strategy for sure. It lets her dodge that pain signal. But what's the trade-off? She's actually losing her natural, effortless movement. And listen, this is something so many of us do without even thinking about it. Have you ever caught yourself saying something like, oh, I'm fine as long as I get up really slowly? Or, if I brace myself on the desk, it doesn't hurt. Or maybe I just have to stand up in this one specific way. All of those, they're huge clues that you're using in adaptation. You're just managing the symptom, not actually fixing the problem. And really getting this idea of adaptation is so, so important because it perfectly explains why a lot of the common fixes we try for sitting pain just don't work in the long run. Think about it. We've all been told, sit up straight, find that perfect posture. But here's the catch. Even a quote-unquote good position is still a static position if you hold it for too long. You're still not moving, so you still get that reduced joint motion that your nervous system hates. The goal was never perfect stillness. The goal is frequent, easy movement. This also explains why stretching, which, it feels great in the moment, often only gives you temporary relief. See, stretching mainly gets the muscles. But the real root of the problem with sitting pain, it's usually the lack of joint motion. If you want relief that actually lasts, you've got to go deeper. You have to restore that natural, smooth glide between the joints in your spine. So, if the goal isn't just to be pain-free by using all these little tricks and workarounds, then what is the goal? What should we really be aiming for? The true north, the real goal, is effortless movement. And this is such a huge distinction to make. Look, being pain-free is good. We all want that. But being effortless, that's a whole other level. That means you can get up from a chair without a second thought. No planning, no bracing, no strategy. You just stand up. That is what real health looks like.
When your movement is effortless, it's a beautiful sign that everything is working together perfectly. Your joints are moving well, which sends a "we are safe" signal to your nervous system. And because your nervous system feels safe, your muscles don't have to tense up and guard everything. And finally, those noisy pain alarms can go quiet. So what this really all boils down to is this. The true warning sign isn't how long you're sitting. It's not about a stopwatch. The real test is how you feel when you stop sitting. That moment of transition from sitting to standing. How does it feel? Is it smooth or is it stiff and strategic? That single moment tells you everything you need to know. And that leaves us with one final big question for you to think about. As you go about your day today, just pay a little attention to those moments. When you get up from your desk, out of your car, off the couch, is your body moving freely? Or has it just found a clever way of getting by? Because noticing that difference, that's the very first step toward getting that effortless movement back.